Okay, so we've got our levels set up with the main elements, and it's always good practice to think about your spaces in this way, the main walls and the floors, and later the ceilings and maybe the roof as well, define the overall size of your spaces. And then after you have some of those things set up, especially the walls and the floors, you can come back to putting in the detail and add things like openings. And so you've got a series of windows that flow around the entire space really. And oh, right, okay. So yeah, I didn't even notice that. Right, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so, yeah. Well, I suppose you can decide which way's north. Can you? Do you have an orientation that you need to follow, or can you have it facing any direction? So if you can make it any direction, you could make the those windows running along, we're going to have them running along the bottom, along this wall, so you can make that your north side. And that'll get, yeah, a lot of lighting. Yeah.
Can we just write that? So you go off the north side?
Oh yeah, so Revit's got a setting for true north, and so as long as you set it down, then the sun will automatically come in when you're rendering your perspectives, exactly, yeah. So anyhow, otherwise, in the folder here, I've given you families for the doors, but I was just checking, I haven't given you one for the windows because you can get it from the main library. So it's just a double hung window that is repeated throughout the whole thing. So if you go to the window tool, load family, and then we'll have a look in the Australia library. It's been a while since I've done this one, that's why I've got to check. So I haven't changed to a different library or anything, I'm just opening up the Windows folder in the one that comes up. And we've got double hung 1L, which is pretty close to the window that's shown here. It's got thicker glazing bars because it's an old Georgian window, I'd assume, but we can change it later to one that has, you know, chunky glazing bar if you need that. But for now, I think this one would be fine. Oh, just click on the window button, and then you've gone off it. So just press escape, and then click on it again, and then you can click on load family on that panel that comes up. On the load family. So you don't need to go searching. If you start clicking on other tabs, you'll lose it. So just press escape. Yeah, it's at the end. So in the Windows folder, then you'll see double hung 1L, which is one light, and just double click on that.
Double hung 1L.
Yep.
You double click or just
Yeah, just double click or open, same thing. Yep.
and then it brings up another thing.
That's right. So the size here, you've got the width. The height does vary actually. There are two heights. Yeah, and so you haven't been given a measurement for the height, but just eyeballing it, I'd be saying that is about 1700 high, or maybe 1800 high. So yeah, and so we don't have a width there that's already set to 1400.
1400, yeah.
So we just can choose any, if that's the case. If you don't have the size you want, just choose any, and you can make your own.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to choose maybe one of these. Yep, any will do. Yep. Click OK. So that will load it in. And now before I place it, I'm going to go to Edit Type. So in Properties, Yeah, and just click OK once you've got the size. Any size, doesn't matter which one. So then in properties you'll see that size has come in. So it'll be something like 0912, whatever size you've chosen. And then if you go to edit type, and actually that might help you if you're wondering what those numbers mean. That's a standard way of giving a window size. It's just in centimetres. So 09 is also rounded off. So it's in, I suppose you could say it's in metres. So 0.9 metres by 1.2 metres. It's really decimetres, but no one uses decimetres. So decimetres 10 centimetres, but no one uses those. So yeah. So anyhow, that's how window sizes are often given. So I'm going to go to edit type, which will give the type properties, and we don't need to keep that size. So normally you've got to duplicate here to make a new size, but this time I'll show you something different. We'll go to rename. Okay, so what did I say? It was 14 by 18. So 1418 would be the name for the new size. Yep, 1418. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so then below that you'll see the rough width and rough height. So they're the ones you want to change here because the dimensions you've been given are for the opening in the wall. So that's really what the rough width and rough height do. So the rough width is 1400 and the rough height 1800. And you'll see then that the width and the height are going to be slightly less than those. That's the window frame size. Yep. I've just left those. Yep. So you haven't been given a sill height either. It's fairly low though, from memory here. I think it's about 600. Yeah. It's just you haven't got any measurements on it. Oh yeah, so that's in the next one. So if you click OK, then you'll see over in the properties panel is your sill. Yeah. And like I said, it is pretty low here, so we'll say, I think it's about 600. I just OK. No, it doesn't matter if you press apply, it's fine. Yeah. So, what I'm tempted to do is flip this around actually and draw it with the wall, the windows up the top here, and have the doors on the right. So that's how you'll print your plans out, if that makes sense. To have, I think that's a pretty good orientation anyway. Yeah. And so just if you had it the other way, flip it around, and that means we don't have to change north either. We've got north already pointing up. So then if you move the cursor onto one of the walls, you should see the window come up there. And don't worry about the exact position, just click to place it in the wall. And then afterwards, you can click on the dimension that comes up and measures from the window to the wall and make that what it should be, which is 1,000, I think, that one. I think, exactly. Yeah, going the other way, yep. And then you can just go along to the next one, same way. So little tip there as well. This arrow, this double arrow, should be on the outside. Yeah. So if you see it come up on the inside, just click on it and then flip it to the outside, because the windows are sided, so they do change depending on the way they face. Yep. So do you know how which windows are double hung? No. What a double hung window is? So a double hung window is one with a sash that slides up and down. Yep. So 2 sashes, and do you know which sash goes on the outside? The thing that slides up and down? Yeah, that's right. The top one goes on the outside. Exactly, that's right. Yep, that's right. Yep, that's fine. So, and it's all to keep the rain out, basically. So, no, that's right. The sash cord. Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's where it gets the name from. Yeah. Yeah. Which was always dangerous because the windows are really heavy, and then if the cord breaks, then they, yeah. Yeah, 2700, I think. Yeah, you're right. So mine has ended up different as well. So let's just check it. Maybe that the now. Yeah. So you can always select it afterwards and change it. And so what I've realised that this window, to flip it, just select it, and then you can click on the arrow to change it. I'll have a look in a second anyway. It's an easy thing to change. But what I've realised that more important is that the width there, you've got to check the way these have been made, and what they've done, the person who's made this window has done the wrong thing, and they've used the rough width for the width, and they haven't really got a rough width in there. I think they may have in the, let's look at it in 3D. Yeah, and this is often the case. So families are all made by different people, and they set them up differently, depending on what they feel like on the day. And so, look, it's an easy thing to fix. Just select one of your windows, go to Edit Type, and so instead, change width to 1400 instead of rough width. I just press Escape to select. And no, we'll make the rough height 1800 as well. Sorry, not the rough height, the height 1800. Yeah. So I just made the width and the height the values we had before, so 1400 and 1800. Yeah. So. Yeah, it does. That's right. It will. So what that means then, if you click OK, is that they're all going to change. Yeah, exactly. That's right. And then, so that way the measurements should add up properly. So if I make that 1000, and then, yeah, and so this part's a bit tricky as well. So the first window I've moved, and then I want this next dimension to be 2700, but I'm not going to change that number now because that will just move this window back to the right. Got to select the next window along, so I'll just show. So if I change that, 2700, it's got to move this one because it's the one that's selected, and that means that first number is going to change, and I want that to stay 1000. Yeah, just select the next window. I'll just choose the first option when that happens. Oh, you're placing, just press Escape if you want to select a window, and then you can select it. Yeah. So now the last window there, when I make that. So select the next window. So after you've changed the first measurement, select the middle window instead of the one on the end. So.
Mine's still out. Mine says 825 instead of
Yeah, oh, then there's an issue. So I'll just show you mine. So there, that's got all the right measurements. So the last one's 700, and everything else does add up properly. So I'll dimension that, and I'll leave it up there for you, but I'll come and have a look. So. So I'm just going to draw in the dimensions, but you don't need to. Yeah, that's the thing. Until you think about what's really happening there, it will change things that you don't expect it to. If you're just focusing on the numbers and not thinking about what is selected, what you're actually changing. So, yeah.
That's not meant to be 29.
Which one? Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry, that's well. So I've moved that. So that should be 700. So now, if I make this 700, then it should all be. Oh, that's 3,000. Oh, so that's just my fault. That's where I've drawn the measurements to. So there. Oh, you just use the dimension tool. So it's this button up the top. You can, but you've still got to think about what is. That's right. It will. So I've got to select the next window. So select your mini window there, and then change the number. Yep. Oh, yep. Sure. Yep. So that's right. Yeah, that's a good one. I'll have a look at it. Yep. Okay. So I'll just save this one. So make sure you save your file. Forgot to mention that before. And so I'm just going to do that right now.